You are now listening to the I Think I Love My Wife podcast. And this is your best friend's best friend, Chidozie Okafor, ready to take you on another journey. Are you with me? Because I'm ready. Let's get it. This episode is sponsored by Nello Effect, a coaching and consulting service that helps people turn mindfulness into action as they navigate the dating world as well as their relationships. Follow on Instagram at nello.effect and find more information in the episode description. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of I Think I Love My Wife podcast, and I am so excited to have a good friend of mine. He used to be my best friend's little brother, but now I can consider him a really good friend. Alan Brown.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
clap it up for Alan Brown.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. This is like a rite of passage being on this, you know. Everybody in the friend circle's been in this except me.
I wanted you to be in for a while, but you finally qualified.
I know,
technically. But thank you for making time. Where do we start?
Wherever you want to. I got tequila, so we can go.
We know
we can go.
We knew it was gonna be a party today. How long have you known your wife?
Am I allowed to say her name?
Oh yeah.
No,
they gonna see you.
No, I've known Andrea since college. So, weird story on how we met, but I've known her since my junior year in college. We went down to party at UT. She ended up being my frat brother's cousin's roommate, and we stayed there, and that's how I met her. But we didn't start dating or anything. It's just how.
You want to give a shout out to the frat? Are you okay?
Shout out to the Kappas. Shout out to the Noops. You know, we here. That was for Kappa Wing back at UT back in the day. Great party.
Do they still do that?
Yeah, they should still do that. Yeah.
I
mean, I haven't been in a while, but I'm sure they still do it. Yeah.
Got it. So you was visiting in 20. You said 20.
This would have had to been 2011.
Were you Greek?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just crossed.
You just crossed. You're feeling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You went to UT. Y'all are close with those guys. Mm-hmm. You met her, and you just didn't shoot.
No, I didn't shoot.
You would have had something else.
You know, we went to these parties to go have fun, man.
So
so literally, I didn't even. It was like her and three. It was four girls who stayed there. And it was just me and my line brother, just two of us, and we just crashed on the floor or on their couch or whatever. But we just appreciated having a place to stay, and it was high by. But we ended up staying there probably like 3 more times before we left. So like all the Kappa parties, they ended up being really cool. Her and her roommates. And so that we just stayed there. So that's how we built at least a friendship.
Rapport.
Because that was back when Facebook was popping. So I would message her on Facebook.
With the poke.
Exactly. The poke, the nudge. Yeah. So that was back in those days. You go to the library, the annex, and you get on the Facebook and poke somebody. So yeah, that was back then.
Yeah. So you known us since 2011. That's y'all going on 13 years now of knowing each other.
Of knowing each other, yeah.
And so when did you guys start talking or dating?
That would have been pretty much right after graduation. So in 2012, summer 2012. So I go back to Dallas. She lives in Houston. And so we kind of connected here and there. But we talked a lot on the phone. She would come down. Eventually, she started coming down to Dallas. I would go down to Houston, but we didn't really make it official. We were just hanging out. And so we did that for maybe the rest of that year. And then probably towards 2012, so probably 2013, we kind of sort of made it official for a little bit. But,
So for about a year, you had like a situation?
Yeah, a year. We were just kind of friends.
A situationship sounds bad, but it was a situation undefined.
It was undefined for sure.
So y'all both could have been doing your own thing as well.
In my opinion. Yeah, for sure.
Eyes,
in my eyes.
From my POV.
Yeah. I never asked the girlfriend
I didn't
question.
ask her. She did too.
No.
So then in 2013, y'all are official.
2013, that's fair to say. Yeah, we're about official.
That's it.
Yep. So she would travel down. I'd travel there.
Oh, that was 11 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
And so 2013, you make it official. You guys are dating. When did you propose to her?
Well, we broke up in some time too.
Okay.
So yeah,
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we had a period where we dated in 2013, maybe not even the whole year. And, I'm out in Dallas doing my thing. I move into a house with some guys, and we're just having fun every single weekend, even during the week. But, like, every week, our house is the party house. I go down to Houston to visit her, but we end up kind of just falling off a little bit. So I ended up dating another girl in Dallas for a little bit. And we dated for quite a while. And
is that the one I met? Is that the one I met in Austin?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
I wasn't sure if that was your cousin friend.
It
Okay.
was my cousin's
Then I
friend. So I
remember
didn't know if you met her or not.
okay,
Yeah. So that one, yeah. I didn't know you met her, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
Or
so,
heard of her.
yeah, yeah. So me and her dated for a little bit, and so we kind of did our thing for about a year. Then me and Andrew got back together, probably late 2014
Good.
through 2015. But I'm 25 at this point. I'm like in my prime. You know?
I understand that.
Yeah,
But I will
yeah.
say, I met a young man and interviewed him, and he did that right out of undergrad.
Did what
straight.
right out of undergrad?
He got it up, and then official, and then ready to, pop the question.
Oh, well, good for him.
He said, "That is not my story."
Yeah, congrats.
Okay, so you say you proposed in 2015?
Bro, I didn't propose until 2018.
It was pre-COVID.
Yeah. 2018.
Yeah.
So, because we still living in Dallas and Houston at this point. And so we end up, so 2015 is kind of our big year where we decide to move to Austin together.
Got it.
And it was basically a conversation in the summer. And I told her, I said, hey, I'm gonna move to Austin. I just felt too comfortable in the city. I just didn't feel like I was stretching myself. And I was like, I just want to go live somewhere else. And Austin was a good move. And I said, hey, if I basically gave her an ultimatum. It wasn't basically, I gave her an ultimatum. And I said, hey, you either come to Austin, it wasn't in a bad kind of, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, hey, I'm moving to Austin. I want you to come with me. And if you don't, I just want you to know that we probably won't be together. I'm not doing long distance no more. I'm moving to Austin. I want you to come move to Austin with me. And I knew she was familiar with Austin because she went to UT. All her family's in Houston. It's close to Houston. We're close to Dallas. Yeah. So it's not like I'm asking you to move across the side of the world.
Yeah.
And so she thought about it. Then she agreed. So then we moved in October. Actually, it was Halloween 2015.
Good.
So we moved in together. Good.
And so then you move in and you propose when? Like, when did you propose?
I didn't propose till March of 2017.
2017. Okay.
No, 2018. I'm sorry.
So a few years later. I mean, years later. At this point, how old are you?
Well, in 2017, I'd be 27.
Yeah, so you're still under 30, right? So,
well, because we had a kid before that.
Oh yeah,
Adeline was born.
So let's rewind.
Yeah.
So okay, so you meet, you start dating.
Yep.
It falls off.
On and off.
It picks back up. You say, hey, I'm gonna move. If we want to give this a shot, I'm moving to Austin. I need you to be with me.
2015.
So that happens. Then she gets pregnant.
In 2016, she got pregnant, and baby was born January 2017.
2017.
So we've only been like together in the city for a year.
Yeah, and then now you're navigating a child.
Now we got a kid.
Okay.
Yep. So
then that happens. Then in 2018 you propose.
Yep. That following March I proposed.
And then you are getting married this year.
Yeah. So we put it like that.
6-year gap.
Yeah, it's a big gap.
Gotcha.
It's a big gap. But COVID was in there too.
COVID happened. We're not neglecting
and
COVID.
there were other things that happened in between too. But yeah, COVID was a big piece of that moving back. And us not putting as much pressure on it.
Gotcha. Okay. And so what do you do for a living?
I'm in sales, tech sales in Austin.
And what does she do?
She's a teacher by trade. More recently, she's in real estate. So she does both.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And then I think it's important to talk through what you saw growing up and what she saw growing up in terms of marital status. Okay. What was that like for you and then for her?
I mean, my parents are still married. I don't know how many years, but that's not a question I've really ever asked them.
I imagine at least 38.
Yeah, I mean, probably since my older brother.
Based on your older brother.
That sounds about right. And it's actually their anniversary, like either today or yesterday or something.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
So they've been doing it for a while.
I should probably ask them these questions.
Maybe.
But her parents were divorced, but they didn't divorce till she was like out of high school.
So she saw that.
Yeah, she was. They were both together for a long time. They got divorced, and then her stepmom, new mom. Has been there since then. So, and that's who she refers to as her mom. Good. That's why I refer to also. So,
and then I think it's also important for our viewers to understand when we talk about reactions and behavior where people fell in line from a sibling standpoint. So, what does that look like for you and then for her?
From a sibling standpoint,
like how many do you have? Where do you fall in the pack?
Yeah, so I'm youngest of two. I got an older brother. Shout out to Paul.
Shout out to Paul.
Your best friend.
One of my best friends.
Yeah. And then she has quite a few siblings. She's got 4 siblings, pretty much all older except 2. But yeah, she has 5 siblings. 3 are older, 1's younger. So yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't know, Paul was on season 1. So if you want to hear Paul's interview, check out season 1. So, okay, and you mentioned you have one child. Is that the only child you have?
No, we had another child in 2019. So we had one in 2017, another one in 2019.
So you have like a 7-year-old or about
7-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. Going to be 3
Both
in a couple
girls.
months. Both girls.
Cool,
Two
cool.
girls.
Well, now that the viewers and the audience know a little bit more about you, tell me what you love about your wife.
I mean, you asked me this question beforehand, right? In terms of just getting my mindset, and I thought about it too, and I'm like, love just isn't a word I say a lot, just in general, and I was thinking about it. It was a lot of things that went through my head, but like the one thing that kept standing out was that I'm just able to be myself. I'm kind of what I refer to as myself as like a wild card.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. I'm like, you never really know what you're going to get, but it might be something that you may not agree with. And she just allows me to be myself, and through that, it allows me to, kind of show pieces of myself that I don't really show to a lot of people, right? In just a regular, everyday way. Of course, she's a baddie. I'm not going to talk,
You
that's a given, right? So you got, she been A1 since I met her. But she understands me. She gets when I say stuff, because I'm a wild boy, but like she knows how to just be like, hey, okay, cool, this and that.
Calm down a bit.
Yeah, I mean that's just with age, but I still have things that I do.
Yeah,
where I'm
we
just
may
like,
not know what you're gonna say, but
right,
yeah.
But she allows me to be comfortable with myself, and then I don't really get that feeling. Not like I'm looking for it, but like I guess if you talk about like previous relationships and previous encounters with people, I never really had a sense of like, okay, that's just you. Like you're just being you. Like I get it, and I'm cool with that. I'm not trying to change you. I might make some suggestions, but that's a huge piece for sure.
Do you feel like that created a level of safety or trust for you to be more vulnerable or reveal additional sides?
1,000%. That's exactly what it was. Like that was the gateway to me to be able to kind of get to another level and be like, okay, I could see this going further. I could see this lasting a long time, for forever. I always joke with her and tell her, you, at the bare minimum, you got me for 18 years. I was like, well, now that the youngest is about to be 3, I was like, at least you got me for 15 years, because ain't nobody else raising my kids except me. So I don't care what we going through. I'll be here at least for another 15. We gonna figure it out at least until them kids 18. But
oh wow.
But it's not a. But that's the thing. Like it's not a bad thing. Like that's how I joke.
But I feel like in knowing her and you, right? I feel like you would say that and you would mean it.
Oh, yeah,
dead ass.
I do.
And she would understand what you mean. Versus if someone else heard it,
they
might be like shocked for her.
Like you just here with me because I got a kid.
Oh no, even if they were just outside looking at it, they might be shocked for her, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a beauty of y'all's relationship, that you do. The Alan I know, growing up, you're more mature now, as you would expect as you get older, but you are still who you are. And she does not try to twist your arm to be anything different than that, and she allows you to be that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the process of that happening took time for her to get there, or it was like from jump you've always?
It's been there. It's evolved over time though, right? Because like especially when you move cities, right? And we're kind of in an island. We have some family out there. We got a couple cousins out there, but it's kind of dependent on us to make friends and like build our community out there. You start to evolve and learn different things. And so that, along with having some kids and just going through COVID together, right? That it put a lot of pressure on us. I feel like we got put in a pressure cooker, and it's like we either gonna make it or we not. And so that was kind of on us at that point. So,
do you think? So one of the things we talk about is how do as a man we create the safe space for women. That's kind of the thing that you need to do to be successful or to be effective. And in this case, she was doing it for you as well. Do you feel like she was doing that intentionally, like knew like, hey, to progress, I have to do that, or she just knew you weren't going to change, and so it's either you're going to have to navigate that, or this is not going to work for you?
Yeah, I think subconsciously, yes. Like, there are many instances where, probably say early on, maybe like that year, maybe even after that, probably, when my oldest was a lot younger, like a year or so, I'd still be like wanting to go out a lot more. And I feel like I go out a decent amount now, but like, you know, when you start defining go out when you get older, it's
It
like,
looks
okay,
different.
I can go out, but I'll be back by 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to I'm gonna leave the house at 10.
Yeah.
Those are two different go outs.
Yeah.
And so that part took me a lot of time to transition out of, because everybody I was hanging around
But still,
was still doing that. And it, you know, and that was kind of a, you know, having kids, especially on the woman's side of things, is a lot more stressful.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be around, or the kid wants them to be around more and things like that. And so that was something I had to kind of learn. But yeah, it's been happening subconsciously for sure.
cool. This episode is sponsored by Nello Effect, a coaching and consulting service that helps people turn mindfulness into action as they navigate the dating world as well as their relationships. Follow on Instagram at nello.effect and find more information in the episode description. Well, you know the title of the podcast is, and I'm sure you've heard some episodes where, you know, I asked the question, for you, what was the moment or set of experiences where you were like, you know what, I think I love this woman?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can tell you the first time I said I loved her, and there was a time, I won't go, well, I guess I will.
You can go.
So it was in Dallas. I think it was around my birthday weekend. This would have been, you know, 2016, before we moved, so maybe 2014. And we were just kind of hanging out, and I told her I loved her, and that was like the first time, you know, I don't really say that word.
Yeah.
Like, you know, my brother could probably attest to this, but I didn't really hear "I love you" growing up. But I knew my parents loved us, but we just never said it. So like when she said it to me one time, I just kind of like laughed a little bit.
It felt weird.
It felt weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. I was like, I don't know, because people be saying that to like people they just meet.
Yep, that is true.
And I'm like, you know, just kind of, I'm like, what is your gauge on that word? What is your gauge? But more specifically, like we were hanging out. It was like my birthday weekend. Had a lot of friends come over. We did like a boat party and everything before I was leaving for the city. And then kind of after that weekend died down, like she had met a lot of my friends. Most of them she knew, but it was some people that traveled in and she didn't know. And I was just like, you know, after kind of seeing her interact with people and the people that I like, because I'm a big proponent of like, if you're friends with me, you probably should be friends with everybody I know, because I hang around a lot of like-minded individuals. And so if you can't kind of hold your own with them, that's going to tell me something. And so it was kind of that moment where I saw her. She was like, we had some issues with the DJ. He forgot to bring his computer. But shout out to the DJ, because he's going to do the wedding. And he's bringing his computer.
Hopefully.
Yeah. He's one of the best DJs in the country, I promise you.
Hopefully.
But she was like, okay, let me pivot. Let me put some water or put some tequila in these little spray guns and shoot them in people's mouths to get them excited regardless. And it was just stuff like that. And I was like, I can see this.
Yeah.
I can see this. Like, I think I love this girl.
Gotcha.
I think I do.
And so when you proposed, were you 100% confident that she was the one for you?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm-
What made you confident?
I mean, first of all, you got to pay for the ring. So,
So
you know,
by the time-
when you drop that money on the ring, you better be sure.
Something.
Yeah, I mean, you don't do that for fun. But I think I will say this. I think the kid played a little bit into it, not in the terms of us having a kid and us wanting to get engaged, but seeing how we navigate it. That's a tough time.
Yeah.
When you have your first kid, those first 3 to 6 months, nobody can prepare you for that. I pledged, you've pledged. This is
It's different.
This is kicking pledging. I'd rather get hazed again, but we're not a hazing fraternity. But I'd rather go through something like that again than be with a 0 to 3 month old again. Like, that was ridiculous. And
I appreciate the clarification,
Yeah.
because my next question was going to be around if having a child influenced you proposing. And so you said it did, so you answered it for me, but I appreciate the clarification, because it wasn't the fact that you had a child. It was how you guys navigated and handled having a child, that whether it showed you more, you saw things that you appreciated more about her that maybe accelerated the decision to propose. Is that accurate?
yeah. And, you know, people look at you crazy, especially when you have a kid and you're not either engaged or married. And so that didn't really play a factor with me, but I knew in my head that I wanted to be with her and I wanted to show her that. And so I didn't want her out here looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to make sure that I did it the right way. But it wasn't because of the kid, but I didn't want her out here just walking around like, oh, you got to, we see that so often. I mean, probably the majority of that is, people have kids and they never work it out, or for whatever reason it happens. But I didn't want that to be us, and I didn't want to put her in that position either, for sure.
Yeah, what I hear you saying is you wanted to give her some security in where you guys were going in the relationship.
Yeah.
Instead of still be something that, people keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
What's happening here while you're still navigating this.
Yeah. I want you to walk out and be confident in what we are when you go out, and, et cetera.
Yeah.
So.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I want to spend some time, you've had some experiences, and, viewers and listeners of this podcast are single. They're dating and they're in relationships. And so I want to get and you have a lot of single friends or people that that are single, or
shit.
your wife's friends that are single.
None of them is shit. If they single, they ain't shit. I'm sorry. Can I cuss on this?
You can say what I own the rights to this. What Shannon says on Club Shay Shay, he said, I am the host and the proprietary owner of this content. So you say whatever you want to say.
Don't nobody ask me about none of my single friends. They is not shit. So, I'm the last good one.
I'm talking about like single friends, guys or girls.
Yeah. Okay.
Or your wife Andrea's single friends, right? And so when you think about the dating landscape between back when you was out in these streets versus now, like what do you feel is the same, and what do you feel is different?
I mean, the times I've been out with some guys that, try to get at girls, like they're scared to go talk to girls like in person. And that's just mind blowing to me. Cause you got to know something about me on this part. I've always been a short guy, right?
Yeah.
I've always had to kind of be okay with being told no just because I was short. I'm not that short. I'm like 5'6".
Okay.
Give me some Yeezy boost. Give me about 5'7". But the thing is, this is a true story.
The story may be true.
It's true life, man.
This is your truth. Come on.
But like you go out and like somebody be like, nah, I don't want the short guy or whatever.
I understand what you're saying. When you're short, you already have deficit.
Yeah, so you got to be used to hearing no. So I was used to that.
Yeah.
And so like especially in college, when we go out and like all my boys, pretty tall guys, and they be like, nah, I don't want to go talk to. I don't want to say nothing. Then I go say something. Everybody else want to come over and join the crew. I'm like, nah, bro, stay over there. Stay over there.
At least let me pick who I want.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I've seen that a lot, and I'm just mind blown. Like, bro, y'all really this scared? I mean, and I'm in sales, like for my job. Like,
but some of that has
you get told no on a daily.
But some of that is by nature of what you do, right?
Right.
I think it's. I would say this. A lot of people think I'm more assertive, and I'm assertive, but like more willing to go shoot my shot and talk to women and things like that than I feel like I am. And some of that is knowing what my sweet spots are.
Yeah.
And some of that's knowing like opportunities that land from me, right? I have an Allen in my corner or someone that could break the ice to go. And it's not necessarily fear per se. I just think we all have gifts that are different. I think by nature of who you are as an individual, the fact that you even choose to work in sales shows like you have a skill that is also conducive for shooting your shot at women.
I believe so.
But what I do hear sometimes is that when you see a woman get rejected or rejecting a guy so many times, you don't want to come off like the next guy, like a bad chick. Like, if she's bad, you already know guys are shooting. And so they're like, well, I just saw 4 guys get rejected. They may know they're different, have something to add, but she's obviously not wanting people to shoot. And so to me, sometimes especially when they see very attractive women, their mindset is, well, I don't want to shoot because I'm going to come off like, especially at a club, I'm going to come off like every other guy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I haven't been.
I didn't let that stop me.
I mean, yeah, it didn't stop me, but if that's your mindset, you might want to try shooting somewhere else. The club's probably not the best place to shoot.
I tell people all the time, you got to know where you're like. I'm not Steph. I'm not shooting from 3.
Yeah,
I was Sean Livingston. We're gonna be by the elbow.
Yeah, you're a big man.
I'm the elbow. We're gonna shoot jumper. I'm a 2. That was my game. And so the club didn't work for me. My name is Chidozi. Trying to say that with all the music didn't work. But if we was at a game night, easy money.
Probably the best place you can go if you're a single guy is probably Target. Just go walk around Target.
Do what?
Women go to Target all the time.
They do. They are there. Focus.
If you want to go pick up a girl, just go walk around Target.
Peep game.
Yeah, that's
Go to
it.
Target.
Go to Target.
Find your next wife.
Not Walmart. Very specifically
No,
Target.
Walmart.
Very, very specifically, go to Target.
No, Walmart. I don't have no beef with you if you want to be a sponsor, but but don't go to Walmart.
Yeah,
Go to Target. Okay, so I want to be equal opportunity. So for the men out there, Target is a prime place to meet a suitable partner.
For sure.
So and you gave reasons how dating has changed for guys that they're scared to go talk. What do you think on the women's end of it? What do you think is different or changed?
I don't know. That one's hard to say because I've been out of the game for a while.
But your wife got friends.
She does have friends. I mean, I don't think they're scared to date. I think they're more so scared that, the guy that they talk to, like, is just more or less spitting game. Ain't shit. Yeah. More or less. Like, he just saying this because he know that's what I want to hear type stuff. And, you see that happen a lot. So
are there ways around that? Because somebody may say, there's like trains of schools of thought in that. Someone may say, hey, you got to fix your picker. Your picker is off in terms of how you picking guys. Like, if you're asking the right questions, holding your boundaries, like you will see signs so you don't get too vested down the line. And then there's also a recognition that there's a lot of guys that ain't shit.
Yeah.
And what I've realized is that a lot of people are scared to get hurt.
Yeah, as it should be.
And to me, that's a like. There's no way you avoid it. Even if you're with a good person, and you do everything right, you still might get hurt if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And so for me, in a environment where there's a high likelihood if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you might get hurt. Why do you avoid the necessary evil of engaging?
It's comfortable, man. It's just. Your routine, what's gonna happen. I got some homegirls that's single, and it's like, they get on the apps for a couple weeks, and then they delete them, and it's like, nah, I'm good. And it's just at that point, it's just like, I don't need to bring mess into my life where it doesn't need to be. And I respect it. I respect that. So it's definitely more difficult for the women, for sure, though.
So you listed Target as a place for the fellas to go. Where would you tell the ladies to go? Because I always say that. Where are the guys at? Where are the good, guys that got stuff going on? Where do they be at?
That's a great question.
I don't think it's Target or Walmart, but
it's probably not Target or Walmart.
Where would you suggest? I've heard Cigar Lounge.
That's too intimate, man. Like I would, if you're a woman and you're like trying to find single guys in a place where you can talk, of course, anywhere that's showing Sunday football is always going to be a good spot. But
driving range.
I mean, but you got to think about places you can talk. If you're at the driving range, you're not really trying to talk to nobody.
People find ways to talk at the gym. Like people make.
Yeah, the gym is a tricky one, but I can see that. But I would probably say like you gotta do like a Sunday fun day, like a brunch for at least if you're a girl looking for a guy, because at least the lights are on, you can kind of get a little bit better gauge. But I really think sporting events because then you don't have so much music going on. And guys travel to those like as a guy group, so it gives you just more opportunities as opposed to just like one-off guys.
How do you view, or what's your perspective on dating versus courting?
Actually, hold on. Let me answer that question you just asked me again. If there's ever a UFC fight in the city you live in, go there.
There'll be a whole bunch.
It's like 90% men, 10% women.
Is it quality men though? That's the question.
It's 90%. You just got to play the numbers at that point. Like. Bro, I can't even make this up. We go to a lot of UFC fights. So we went to a couple in Austin.
And some of them might be good.
Bro, the way I can explain this to you is like Andrew went to the restroom. It was no line. I went to the restroom. It took me 30 minutes. Oh, wow. So that tells you what's going on in a UFC fight. Yeah, it's never that short for a women's line. So UFC fight if it's ever in the city.
Good. No, listen, UFC fight. Hit up Dana. See if you can get some tickets. When it comes to the idea of dating versus courting, I hear people use the term interchangeably.
Okay.
What's your take on it?
On dating versus courting?
Are they the same thing to you?
To me, that's the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, once you take interest in somebody, like, it is what it is. You can call it whatever you want to, but once you take interest and you're reaching out to somebody, because the goal is the same, in my opinion, right? You're trying to figure out if y'all have enough in common to be together.
That's if they want to be together.
If they want to be together. Yeah. But I guess I don't know how you would classify courting and dating. Courting almost makes it seem like I'm trying to do something and you're not interested.
Oh,
Whereas
really?
dating feels like, okay, we've agreed that we're both interested.
See, that's interesting. I look at it different. I look at dating in that discovery phase.
Okay.
Like I'm dating you to get to know you. I don't know what the objective is
Okay.
outside of I'm trying to get more information about you, see what you like, see if we have some mutual interests. Can we just be around each other, have fun? To me, when you court, there's an objective in mind. Like I want you to want me.
Right.
Because you might date people and like you dated, we went on dates, but I don't know that I was with the goal to want you to be my girl. Like I wasn't trying to get you to get to that conclusion. We just having a good time.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. I look at dating as like a precursor to courting. Once you figure out like this is a person that I want that response. Like I'm courting her so that she chooses me equally.
It's almost like a job interview. You know, when you go to a job and it's like, I want you to pick me, and then you get to the interview and you crush it, and they're like, do you have any questions? And you ask some questions like, oh man, this guy's good. And then the flip switches and they're like, you should come work here because X, Y, then they start selling themselves. That's what I kind of think what you're saying, right? It's like, I wanted to come to you. Now that you've seen I'm a qualified candidate and I can crush it here, now you want me. Now you're knocking down my door and now you're trying to pay me more or whatever the case is. So, yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Would you consider yourself a chivalrous guy?
Yes.
You thought about that?
I mean, yeah. We do a lot of stuff. But I guess it depends on how you define
How
chivalrous.
do you define it?
Me, I define it by like going out, right? And not by going out, but like doing things I know she will enjoy. So she really likes date nights and just us without the kids. And so I take a lot of pride in trying to get at least once a month because, you gotta get a babysitter. It's a whole production.
Oh, yeah, it's a work. It's a whole effort.
But like that, from that perspective, like I try to really focus in and get a good one. And when I do, it's like, it's always a good event.
Yeah. Are you pulling out chairs? Are you walking on the right side of the
I don't
street?
do that.
Opening
I don't
doors.
do that. I know I'm probably gonna get bashed for this, but
you can't get bashed for being yourself. Well, you can, but
you can. You definitely can.
You already got your person.
Yeah, you definitely
She's
can.
good with it.
It's not that I don't want to do it. I just don't think of it.
Yeah.
Like the opening car doors, like I'll do it if like we're walking by the side of the door that you're about to get in.
Listen, let me tell you. Listen, you're laughing, but I agree.
Cause then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go to your side of the door, I'm gonna open it, and you'll get it. But why so hot? Well, I couldn't turn the car on because I didn't get in the car first to get the AC on.
I agree. I'm a type of guy that will walk on the right side of the street. It's kind of habit for me at this point. I don't think I've pulled out a chair for her. I think it's so awkward because then she readjusted after you done pulled it out.
That's a weird
I
thing
think
in the first place.
British
though.
thing.
That's a weird thing.
With
Yeah,
colonialism
we gotta
or
let that
something.
one. We gotta let the chair go.
I do open regular doors for women because we walking through the same door. So I just try to speed up and.
But then you go
it.
open the door. Now you gotta hold it open for 12 other people that come behind you.
That's-
You just
that's
say
no
that.
problem.
Now she just sitting there standing, looking at you like, "Come on, Chidozi, I'm ready to eat." You're like,
To me,
"Well, I got
that's no
caught
problem
holding the
because
door."
I'm like, that's my service for the day. My charitable good for the day. But the car door is one that I struggle with. To your point, especially if I'm coming on my side.
Yeah.
And in this Texas heat, I'm bald. It's hot.
Hopefully
I'm
you got
like,
an automatic starter, but even
I
that won't
don't.
save you.
We're not there yet. Hopefully y'all subscribe to the podcast. Y'all sign on, and then we can go from there. But I don't, and so it's like, to me, it's so much of an inconvenience to like go there to come back.
Yeah.
I never understood like when you were treating someone well, right? Which I don't think people associate with chivalry. Because I think what you're talking about, like I treat her when we go out, we have a good time. I make sure we have those moments, right? I feel like when that's happening, are you really worried about your car door? Like, what does that give you that the other experiences doesn't? I had a girl made a big ordeal about it.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Like we went out, and this is a friend that she was a friend. Or this is one of them fake
Was
friends.
this a girl that you were talking, or just somebody, a friend of?
It's a girl that I knew that I wouldn't have taken her seriously, but we would have dated.
Hey, I want this to be aired, so make sure
What you
that you don't tie your tongue, because I
ain't
want this
tying it.
episode to get on play.
Well, who would stop it? It's my podcast.
That's true.
No, but I talked to it was a girl. She was in the friend circle. I would say it was besties.
Yeah.
But I knew there was a cap on our potential.
Okay.
So when we would be out as friends, if I was walking her to a car, I would, the goal was to walk you to your car, like make sure
Get
you
you
made it to
there.
your car.
Get you
I
there.
opened the door, and like she always didn't want to like we were friends. We didn't go out. So one of the times we went out, she was like, I took her to a car, and she was like stood there. So I'm just thinking we talking. And she told me she was waiting for me to open her car door.
One of the.
And I was like, what? It caught me so off guard because she's like mandating it all of a sudden. And it got to a conversation where this guy was walking with his son. And, me being the person I am, I was like, I'm sure people have, when they're married, have way more important things that they're trying to get their husband to do besides open car doors. So I was like, let's test it. So we asked the guy. He's like, hey, man, I don't want to interrupt you and your son, but are you married? He's like, yeah. I was like, does your wife ask you to, or make you open the car door? He said, my wife got like 30 things she would like me to do before opening the car door.
Yeah.
She proceeded to argue with that man about how he's setting a bad example for her son. And I was like.
But I will say this. I'll stand up for the girl on this fact. Like, she's probably just trying to figure out, like college, going to college is like, whatever. People just want to see you went to college just to know that you can learn. Right?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's symbolic.
It's symbolic to say this person can learn information if they have to in this area. So that's probably her just like, okay, if I ask him to, fix the toilet, can he do that? Maybe it's like a test to just gauge of what you're capable of doing if I request it. Maybe that's how she feels.
Maybe it was the request. And I'm too old for that. So
yeah, exactly.
And my issue is that I feel like oftentimes in dating, people are looking for symbolic things that don't have a lot of meaning.
I 1,000% believe
and because of that, you're checking for things and you're doing tests for things that when you look at like people that have been married, that's not even something that they even are vouching for. And so I always wonder like why we spend so much time on things that we put so much meaning on that when you look at people that are married and ask them about the same thing, there's probably little to no emphasis on some of those things.
Very little. Yeah.
And so as someone that's on that journey and technically been married, for a while, you probably common law by now, what your take is on that?
I mean, it's always something new. I will say that in the terms of like, it may not have been that request today, but maybe that was the request 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. The request changed, but the idea still remains, right?
And what's the idea?
Of like, okay, I want you to lift the toilet seat up or put the toilet seat down when you finish, right? Just the idea of like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm asking for. And that's going to evolve. Okay, what am I asking for? Okay, I want you to, take the kids to soccer practice and back while I do this. Okay, cool. I want to go do this. And it's not always a one-way thing, but I do feel like that door is just a symbolic for a door. It's a gateway. It's an opening to figuring out, okay, can this person do this if I ask them? Do they really love me? Because if they do, they would open the door. Or do they really like me? Yeah. No,
the funny part is, I think you have a valid point. The funny part is, my mind works is like, the guy that's opening your car door is probably cheating on you. Like he's doing the little easy things, and then he's not showing up where it matters. Yeah, however, from the vantage point you suggested, I can't understand how someone can use, hey, the symbols of love and effort evolve over time. Yeah. And that is the beginning point of what will be an evolution of symbols to see, where you are showing up or how you're showing up for them.
Yeah. I believe that one. I mean, that's just life, right?
Cool. Well, now that makes sense to me. And I know we have a lot to discuss, but for this episode, we're going to have to leave it right there. I appreciate you showing up today. But I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I left you hanging. My bad, bro. I did you like the roses. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I can't wait to talk to Alan more about how his relationship's gone, how he navigated not proposing for 6 years, and get his take on so many other things. If you've enjoyed this, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and follow on Instagram at Think Love Wife. Until next time, you know what it is. I hope the conversation keeps going.